Here are 5 IUL red flags. An index universal life policy can be a very powerful tool to leverage and build wealth, but it's all about building your cash value. I have people bring me their policies all the time for review, and the problem that I see more times than not is that it's not set up properly. And that's why these policies get a bad rap. Now, this can happen for 2 reasons. 1, the agent setting it up just doesn't know what they're doing. Or 2, they're setting up these policies to benefit their commissions rather than your goals. So here are 5 red flags to watch out for when it comes to setting up your IUL. Red flag number 1, your policy has a high death benefit. For example, you have $1 million in death benefit and you're only putting in $100 to $200 a month at the age of 30. If you're setting up your policy for cash growth, then the higher the death benefit, then more of your money is going to the cost of insurance rather than the cash value. This is great for the agent's commission, but not if your goal is to grow money. You want to make sure that you have the lowest death benefit so that more of your money is going to the cash value or growth side of the policy. This is what we call max funding a policy. Now, if you are wanting a high death benefit, I would recommend you looking at different types of life insurance policies, specifically just for the death benefit. Red flag number 2, if the policy is set up as level as opposed to increasing. Level means that the death benefit stays the same throughout the life of the policy and the cost of insurance remains consistent. Increasing means that the death benefit increases as your cash value also increases. It also means that your cost of insurance goes up yearly. If you're trying to grow your cash value, the reason that you would want the policy to increase is you want the death benefit to go up to keep with the rules of the IRS so that you never go over the MEC level. What is the MEC level, you ask? It stands for Modified Endowment Contract. Easiest way to explain this, it's just like the limit that the Roth IRA has. If you stay in that limit, your money is tax-free and not penalized. But if you go over that limit, it's subject to taxes. In an insurance policy, however, that limit can vary depending on your death benefit. So if it's set up properly, there's virtually no limit. That's why the IUL is called a rich man's Roth. Red flag number 3. If the agent showed you an illustration of the policy and it shows in the first couple of years there's a 0 in the surrender value, policy was set up wrong in the sense that the agent set it up for high commission instead of the cash value growth, because most of your money went to the cost of insurance. If the policy has no cash value from the beginning, you won't be able to access anything. But if your policy is max funded, you should have cash value from the very start of the policy. Red flag number 4. You are in your mid-50s or older. The older you are, the higher the cost of insurance. So an IUL in this case would only make sense if you're putting a lot of money to overfund the policy for cash growth rather than the death benefit. If it's not max funded, you have an agent that's trying to sell everybody an IUL. Red flag number 5. If the cap and the participation rates of the policy are low, you want to see if there's a cap in the index that was chosen, and you want to know what the participation rate is. If the cap's at 5%, what that means is if the index grows 10% in the market, you only get 5% growth in the account. So you want at least a 10% cap rate or an uncapped option. If the participation rate is 50% and the index does 10% growth in the market, then you only get 5% in your account. So you want at least 100% participation rate or more if it's offered. And here's one more bonus red flag. The insurance carrier you're working with is not A-rated. When considering insurance carriers, selecting a company that is fully capable of fulfilling its obligations is critical, especially if you experience a loss and need to file a claim. Like businesses in any industry, some insurance carriers are more reputable than others. So make sure the carrier you choose is A-rated and have been around for a long time. If you're thinking about an IUL, or maybe you have one and just want to review it, head over to my bio, click on my calendar, and set up a time so we can chat more. There's no cost. Let's chat soon.